the first white settlement on the African continent, was settled by Dutch farmers in the 17th century. The lineage of these Dutch farmers are known today as the Boer, or as Afrikaners, and for many years they have established themselves as much as any of the many tribes living in the Cape today. When the Dutch arrived at the Cape in 1652, the land was too arid for crops, and was only inhabited by a small few pastoral nomads known as the Khoikhoi. The Dutch settlers proved themselves to be masters in the art of dry land farming, and dedicated their lives to fostering the region into abundant farmland. Over the years, South Africa grew in abundance, and dozens of African tribes migrated to join the growing settlement in the Cape of Good Hope. Aside from being the only white people, the Boer blended in with everyone else, and for generations, they lived in relative harmony. They had their issues, but conquest of land was respected and honored by local tribes. It was Britain who most rigorously challenged the Boers' existence there. Once the French invaded the Netherlands, England sought control of the Cape in South Africa. The Boers were devout Christians who found deep purpose in the stewardship of their farmland. And they had serious disdain for British rule. Britain began imposing taxation upon the colony. They sent missionaries in to stoke the flames of discord between the Afrikaners and other local tribes. And in 1795, the British invaded the Cape of Good Hope. This led to what is known as the Boer Wars. The Boers' resistance against the British was greater than most. But after killing 30,000 Afrikaner women and children in the first ever concentration camps, the British had finally broken the Boers' spirit to resist. South Africa officially became part of the British Empire in 1910, and almost immediately following this, the British government began imposing some of the most racially divisive laws in history. By 1948, these divisive laws gave birth to apartheid, which was defined by an authoritarian political culture based on boskap, white supremacy. Apartheid created so much racial division between the Afrikaners and the African tribes that by the 1990s, violent Communist Party, the ANC, had easily risen to power. The ANC took orders from Communist Russia, and they trained in the art of revolution. They proudly sing songs about killing all the white farmers, and create laws that legalize the theft of private property. Racism is not the problem in South Africa. Before the racially divisive laws implemented by British rule, there was relative harmony. What this is yet another communist takeover of a once great sovereign nation. What we are witnessing now is perhaps the classic communist move. Kill the farmers, starve the nation. Mass murder of the population so that the communist control freaks can carve up the remains and take whatever is left for themselves before the whole thing slides into the abyss. The mainstream media, desperate to keep their audience from awakening to the truth, remains mostly silent about the South African crisis, aside from spinning it as a so-called right-wing conspiracy. But to the many who are waking up today, this only reveals their devout capitulation to the thieves and tyrants who own them.